Round two. Welcome back, Paul. Hopefully you're done sneezing.
That one wasn't going to stop, as I'm sure you could tell. Sorry about that. Brad, how you doing?
I'm, I feel like it's deja vu. I'm doing well, but we're back. We're home.
Yep.
We survived.
I mean, let's see, Sunday to Monday to Tuesday. Really 3 days of travel for me. You were gone longer. But I was, yesterday afternoon, I had a good flight. You did too. And it was kind of nice just to come back to chill, and not worry about whatever. And it was good. But I got up so early yesterday morning. I knew I was going to take a nap. So I wrote a little bit and I kind of collapsed and fell asleep and whatever. But eventually I ambled downstairs and I put on TV. And for TV for me means all these different services. And I'm clicking through like Netflix, for example. And I'm looking at all the shows. And I'm like, oh man, there's like nothing new here. What's going on? So I went over to Hulu. It's like, oh, nothing new. And I'm like, oh, right. I was gone for 3 days. I feel like I was gone for 2 weeks, There's something, it was something really draining about this trip. It was magnificent in many ways as well, but it was also Florida in many ways as well. But it was really draining. I mean, do you feel it? Are you impacted by this?
Yeah. It could have been the oppressive heat.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Monday
and being outside in it for you for 2 days straight, and then for me that one day.
And I mean, the other part of that too is that but they're long days. Like, right? It's not like we go there and just sit at the keynote and then that's it. We're done, and we just sit in a hotel room for the next 12 hours.
Well, you were kind of joking with me about getting up at the crack of 10:45 or whatever it was on Tuesday. The truth is, I had gotten up at 6:30, but I knew that day was going to go past midnight, and it did, or roughly to midnight, and that it would just be a harrowing back-to-back nightmare experience. I mean, it was obviously, people come out to the meetup, which they did, or to the party, which was fantastic. Super appreciate it, but it's also very, it's tiring. There is no sound more awful than the sound of the phone alarm, and you probably do the same thing. You ever spend the time to go through the different alarm sounds and please, dear God, let there be something that doesn't make me want to murder the phone when this thing goes off. And I can't find that sound. I don't think it exists.
Yeah, it's rough, I think.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the good news is that we're traveling next week too. At least that's on the agenda. It's starting.
Yes, that's the good news.
Probably coming in Monday and leaving Wednesday morning because Microsoft decided to do that thing at 4 p.m.
Yeah, that is a big problem for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably still going to go out that night. I haven't booked this yet. In fact, I need to figure that out today.
Oh, it reminds me, I got to call. They didn't email me my hotel receipt, which is annoying.
Where are you staying?
It's not. I mean, it's still a Hilton. I don't know. It's like a DoubleTree or something.
If it makes sense, I'll go there too. I got a checkout email and was able to check out. I checked out in the cab on the way to the airport.
Oh, I got none of that. Thanks, Marriott or Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, so I already got mine, but.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're all just taken care of.
Yeah, I think my expenses are done. I'm looking good.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's my last expense, and then I have a monstrous expense report. I gotta.
We try to be good about this, right? Expenses are tough, so as I get a receipt, I usually take a picture of it and usually try to enter it immediately into the app we use. And because if I don't, I mean, I've had months go by where I'm like, I really got to get on this. So this is my annual New Year's tradition or resolution. I'm going to do expenses like right away.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking I got to call them, which is annoying, but whatever. That's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And so we are back. Behind the scenes video, for those who are curious, it is now up on the site. It does not involve any of this, which this is from the Magic Kingdom. A bunch of fireworks at the end of the night. It was a great time. And we went to SeaWorld. We went to Ignite. We did a bunch of stuff. It's all...
I've only watched about 2/3 of that video so far. It's good stuff. The quality of the video is amazing. It's too bad there's like 2 gorillas in there, but your family's in part of it, which is kind of funny. There's a moment I'd kind of forgotten about, but then it reminded me of our visit to SeaWorld, and which I'm trying to block out of my memory, obviously. Your daughter has this. It's funny. the things that she latches onto are not the big things. Like we're looking at like dolphins and whales and manta rays, and she's looking at a game where you can play basketball and win a stuffed animal, or she's or like some kind of a like any stand that sells anything is what your daughter was interested in. And there was a moment where your wife is showing her the flamingo hats, and I kind of came up behind you and I'm like, how do you have any money? And it's just something well, it gets different as they get older. Like with my son, for example, he can eat like a $75 steak in Europe and put us, put us 10 more years out from retirement. But your daughter wants to buy these little trinket things. It's funny.
So here's a fun little thing. This Surface Book is completely frozen.
Hey.
I would turn it around and prove this method. But it actually froze while I was signing into 1Password and my secret key, which is kind of you need your username, your password, and then this unique secret key.
All of it is right there.
Just right there. And this baby is done. Like a well-cooked steak, it is done.
Ironically, today, Consumer Reports put Surface back on the recommended list. Except, by the way, Surface Go. I thought the rationale there was going to be because it was too new. And that's not it.
It's not reliable.
The performance is garbage, and we can't recommend any computer where the performance is garbage.
So I can prove to you that this thing is hosed because this is the power button right here. These are the volumes, power. It should turn the screen off behind me. But as you can hear,
you gotta hold it down. It's still gonna. It wouldn't surprise me that would stay up regardless. This is
now the lid's shut.
Miracast loses its connection kind of thing, and it keeps going.
Nope, it should.
Yeah, it should. It should do all kinds of things.
You probably can't see it, but the screen is still on with the lid shut.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, this is just.
You're gonna have to hold that sucker down.
Dun, 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 dun.
My Surface Book 2 was very reliable on this last trip.
There we go. It shut off.
Yep, but the Miracast is still going.
Wow, the one time Miracast holds strong is when the whole thing craps the bed.
But I would also argue it's not behaving correctly.
Oh, there it goes. Yep. Anyways, so that's how my day is going. But yes, Consumer Reports, right on target as always.
Yeah, talk about 1 year in the abyss. That non-recommendation happened early August 2017. This is how long it took for them to reverse that.
Well,
stuff.
I don't blame them though. I mean, they're in the business.
Well, new generation of devices. I don't know how often they do a survey. Maybe it's an annual survey, but.
So this is fantastic. It says it's working on updates. Was it trying to do an update?
Amazing. It's probably fine.
It's great. The show notes are just all there, just somewhere in the nether. But anything else from Ignite that strokes the interest here, Paul? Probably.
I wrote this up this morning. I was kind of struck by this. Brad Anderson, who's a great guy, and I kind of go way back with a corporate vice president. He came up through the management stuff. He's part of the Windows non-org now, if you will. Was very complimentary to me, and I don't normally this isn't about me, right? But I had several people from Microsoft on this trip come up to me at different times. There were those two guys after our podcast, just to say, hey, just wanted to let you know we listen to your criticisms and we take them seriously, and we know you're coming from the right standpoint, that kind of thing, And I wrote this in the article, but in the sense that we're all kind of heroes of our own stories. This isn't about me. Like, to me, this is really notable. This is what separates Microsoft from these other companies, especially Apple, but also Google and Samsung, and maybe Amazon, who I also don't really deal with on a professional level for whatever reason. I for a long time now, because Microsoft is kind of diverging from me, right? The stuff that Microsoft is doing the most is the stuff I care about the least. And it's an issue I think a lot of us feel, just as individuals or consumers, Microsoft fans, whatever, that maybe they're not giving the consumer stuff the effort it deserves or whatever. And I keep waiting for Frank to call, and be like, okay, we've had a good run. You stepped over the line finally. I don't know. But it was heartening personally for many of the people from Microsoft to kind of come to me and tell me that actually they accept this criticism in the right way. They appreciate it. They understand where I'm coming from. I'm not like a ranting lunatic. Like, I'm standing up for users and for what I think is right and that kind of thing. And again, it's not about me, although there is an element of this for me that I like, but it's about Microsoft. It's about the trust thing. It was interesting this week that the Google Chrome thing happened in the wake of the privacy violations around location sharing, which they were lying about, or the other things that Google gets involved in. It seems like this kind of thing happens regularly to Google. I think there's a reason for that. Apple's faux humility on stage. They stumble into this thing where, because their ecosystem is so locked down, all of a sudden now they're the privacy people. No, they're the hyper control people. They're liars. Microsoft has an integrity, kind of a respectability that I really like. And people sometimes are like, why do you still cover Microsoft? You should veer off into whatever it is. And it's like, well, I never really had an answer, but now I do. This is why. Not because they appreciate me, but because the kind of corporate culture that would appreciate someone like me is the kind of company that I respect. Not because it's me personally, but because they're not thin-skinned. I'm sure some people are, and certainly I've run into those people over the years, but just kind of institutionally, I think there's something important to be said there. And I hope I communicated this effectively. It's kind of weirdly personal, but I think it's important.
Yep. I had a similar conversation. I wouldn't call it a heart to heart. I would like to point out this thing is still sitting at 100%.
Speaking of being critical of Microsoft,
it's 100%.
Yeah. Usually that means it's done.
Oh, nope. 100%. Getting your Windows ready. What is this thing doing?
It's getting it Windows ready. It's like you can't read.
Oh, great. But now we're back to 7%. Anyways, before I shit all over this thing, thank you, Consumer Reports, for cursing my book. I actually talked with somebody. They didn't. You could probably figure out who, but from the Insiders team, and they kind of asked me. They said, "Hey, what do you think of the program?" And I was very blunt, and I said, "Here's the problem with the Insider program. You have ever many hundreds of thousands and millions of people using it, and about none of them are representative of your actual market.
Right."
They're all hardcore enthusiasts who want these new awesome features.
Yep.
And
it's the minority overly impacting a product that the majority of people do not need those features. This is the central. It's I call this the McDonald's Principle. The rationale being that when McDonald's was created in the 60s or whenever that was, the point wasn't we're going to make America fat and we're going to fool them into eating this terrible food. The point was cars are becoming, actually I guess it was the 1950s, the cars are becoming a big thing. We need to address this new market of people who are in their cars. And McDonald's the point was not to hurt anybody, right?
Right.
And McDonald's now I think has kind of a touchy reputation because they're perceived as being poor quality food or whatever. I think that's a kind of a mixed thing. But the point is you do something for the right reason, and then the impact further down the road is like this big negative thing you never anticipated, and you certainly never were trying to do. The point wasn't to create an exclusive clique where these techno weirdos with Captain America costumes and stuff could, start impacting this product that's used by the most diverse user base on Earth. That was not the point. But it is something that needs to be addressed. And I've written, to this topic myself as well. Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
But the thing is they actually said, yeah, we know. And we're trying to figure out how we work with that because even things like dark theme, nobody... If you're listening to this, you'd be like, yeah, I absolutely care. But you know what? The 99% of the people who use Windows 10 don't care. And Microsoft has all the data that knows how many people actually switch their wallpaper, how many people actually change their theme.
It's interesting what they don't share about that telemetry data, because what you don't see are a lot of reports about, hey, remember those cool new things we put in this version of Windows? Well, X% of people are using them. They never say that because you know what? Not many do.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
You saw a lot of news since ever about timeline. It's a great idea.
Every version there's a feature like this. My people.
Yep.
Off the face of the earth. Mixed reality was a big thing. Remember a year ago, mixed reality was everything. 3D, all that stuff. It's like it just falls off a cliff. The problem that there's a cultural, and here we are. I'm criticizing Microsoft. There's a, well, no, but this is again, it's coming from the right place, right? So there's a cultural, no, but there is a cultural problem at Microsoft where people are rewarded for doing new things, right? And so when something new comes along, I'll use Windows Mixed Reality as an example, or 3D or whatever. Some group of people jumps on board because this is the thing. It's going to be on stage at Build or at Ignite or wherever they do it. It's a big deal. And then they ship it, and nobody wants it or uses it, and it's maintained, and maybe they update it. But those guys, the big guys who are really excited about it, they've already run off to the next thing, because there's no reward for shipping 2.0 or 1.1, really, right? The reward is 1.0. If you can get like Microsoft to do a new thing, that's huge for your career.
Yep.
And it's this culture. It's the finish the job thing I always talk about. This is Microsoft's problem. Anyone could start something. You could just you got to follow through with it. And I talked to Brad Anderson about this, and I still have not written my Brad Anderson article. That will be today, absolutely. But it's part of the integrity story I wrote, but only a small part. And there's other stuff about it. But he addressed at a corporate level how Microsoft is engaging with the customers that actually matter most to it, right? If you think, as terrible as it is for us as individuals to have crapware in Windows 10 or ads or whatever, imagine what it's like to corporate customers who are trying to ship the leanest, simplest, non-trainable, necessary product, and they have to explain to people how to get rid of Candy Crush, or whatever. So there is a plan for that too, by the way. So I'll be writing about that soon. But yeah, I'm happy to hear them say that. Me criticizing the Insider program, which I've done, has triggered some internal self-doubt because I know those people personally in some cases. I like them quite a bit. I think you'd agree with that. They're all great people. We met up with them at our meetup there at the restaurant. I love hanging with those guys. They're great. I mean, how do you look at someone like that in the face and say, what you're doing is maybe not a net negative, but I mean, how do you say that to somebody?
Well, that's what I did. I said,
fortunately but it's hard, knew, right? It's hard.
Yeah, that you're addressing the wrong market. So it'll be interesting to see. They're
absolutely enthusiasts, and they have their own ideas, and that market should be served to some degree for sure. You can't ignore it. But my God, the other 90-something% are like, what is this? Or just ignore it outright, and maybe it doesn't harm them at least. I suppose that's not horrible, but yeah, it's a problem.
It is. It is, and we will see. I think there's lots of changes coming at Microsoft here once they ship the next build of Redstone. I think there's going to be some updates and changes.
You're right, but I can't say that. Never.
We will hold on to another day.
What you said, yes. Let's go with that.
Yes. We will roll with that. Paul, you got anything else for today?
Well, no, I want to write my Brad Anderson thing. I put up my Jared Spataro article the other day, and I also spoke at length with Brad, and I have some stuff to. Hey, buddy. My cat has arrived. I'd like to get that out. Then I'll be doing What the Tech, but then I'll be taking a nap. How about you?
It feels like a Monday.
Yeah, it does.
Because
that's going to be good though tomorrow. When tomorrow feels like Tuesday, and we're going to be off for the weekend.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up. We should be back to a normal schedule for today and tomorrow, and then next week we'll be all screwed up because I'll be in New York. I think Monday, Tuesday, and I'll be back Wednesday. And then Paul is going to turn around and go to Ireland, or no, Paris. Germany. Ireland.
Paris first, then Ireland.
I'm done talking to Paul. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll catch you right back here next time.